You said what?
You know how we usually do.
Right.
You recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is D.
This is C.
And this is Black
Meets
World. Okay. And we back, and we back, and we back. Okay, sorry. You know I had to plug.
Any plug for Chance the Rapper is good.
It's just love. Okay, so we have
hashtag Black Boy Joy.
So we have
some guests.
We have some guests. We first have Jason Warner, who is Chief Visionary Officer of Own the Vision.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, what's going on?
And we have our good friend
Major.
How y'all doing out there?
So we actually are going to start off with a work story, which we haven't done in a while, but this happened yesterday and it was so funny. So I have a coworker who's a black male. I won't say more than that. He's approaching 40, but he's from down south. And so his grandmother used to make a lot of southern food. So he'll walk around the office talking about chitlins like it's nothing, which that's neither here nor there for me because the heavy side. So I just, whatever. So,
but pause. But why is he around the office talking about chitlins?
So he's also gay and proud, and he just is loud all the time. So anything he wants to talk about,
gay and loud go?
That's what he's.
They're synonymous.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Him.
He's just a flamboyant personality.
Yes, exactly. So
as am I. Okay.
Right. But whatever. So yesterday he was talking all day about how he wanted chitlins. Like he's been talking about it for about 2 weeks. But yesterday,
with who?
Just coming over to me. Meanwhile, I don't sit in an office, so he's just out and about in the hallway, his door open, just talking about chitlins.
So, he has an office.
Yeah. Oh. Door open, just discussing it. So finally, he said, "Girl, I found somewhere uptown where he was gonna go buy some chitlins," and he left the office to go do so.
Oh God!
So he sends me a picture of pounds of cooked chitlins, and I'm like, "Oh my God!"
You just said pounds.
Yeah. So he comes in, and he says, my mama never cooked slave food, but I love me some chitlins, and I'm gonna do such and such and such. And I'm like, okay. So I'm letting this rock. He leaves for the day, right? So I sit next to a Caucasian woman, and she's probably in her 60s, and she says to me, "What slave food?"
Oh, she's involved in the conversation.
Yeah, she was in the conversation. So she was asking him. Let me tell it better. She was asking him what chitlins are and what ham hocks are and neck bones. They were having this whole conversation about something. So when he left, she said, "Well, what does slave food mean?" And I was like, "Well,"
what, girl?
I said the way that I was told when I was young is that
or what history actually says,
or what history says is that it's the food that was left over that the slaves could essentially quote afford. So it was, could eat. It was the scraps. I was like, it was the scraps. So. If the people in the big house were eating pork chops, we were eating pork intestines. And that's essentially how it worked. And she was just like, "Oh, wow, I never heard of that. I can't believe," she was taken aback. And I just was like,
How old is this white woman?
It's in her 60s, gotta be.
Oh, so she was around for segregation.
Don't make me. I was cramp.
Is she
How
from
old
here?
As,
is she?
She's from New York.
What part of the country?
She's from New York.
Okay.
And she's never heard of ham hocks.
She didn't know
or hashtag black food.
She didn't know. I spent at least 10 minutes explaining it to her.
To the 60-plus-year-old woman.
Yeah.
She gotta go.
I was telling her about how you cook it with greens. I really had to get into it because she didn't know. So at this point, I'm like, well, damn, you gotta cook the greens with it. If you want to know, I'm gonna just tell you. So it was funny because my coworker sent me the picture of the chitlins, and he cooked them. He let them soak all last night. Oh, we might have lost Jason. I'm gonna find a picture of the chitlins.
Oh, he had to go.
I'm dead ass. This whole situation happened. Look, he sent me this picture today.
He gotta go. He put hot sauce on. Sorry, Jason. I saw you got disconnected. Not sure if that was me or you, but just called you back.
I'm good. Let's keep it going.
Okay.
I was listening to the slave food.
So essentially, he sent just now. Today he left and went home to eat.
D just showed us this hood ass photo of a picture he sent her, and it's a plate with chitlins and hot sauce smothered on it. Ain't nothing else on the plate but just chitlins and hot sauce.
Boy.
And I'm over here cringing because I, as a Southern person, I hate some chitlins.
Really?
I really do not like that shit.
Really?
Hell no.
Jason, how you feel about chitlins?
Shit's a gross, B.
Really? Even if they
Yes.
clean?
Man, listen. No chitlins coming to my house. No chitlins coming to my mom and daddy's house. My mom grew up on a farm in South Georgia. My grandfather was the agricultural commissioner of Appleton County and 4 other counties in South Georgia.
Okay.
Like, no. Like, slaves would roll over in their grave to know that we have an opportunity to buy food. And, like, we say, you know what, we're going to put the crap, the intestines, the throwaway stuff, and call it something delicious. No. Like, you can't eat crap and then be like, oh, yeah, and put some hot sauce on it and call it good. Like, stop it.
Like, I will say this. So I didn't grow up with like black Southern food. I grew up in the South, but I didn't grow up with black Southern food. But we did, and mind you, if D and Major know, I don't eat a lot of meat. But the one meat that we eat on every special occasion is goat. And we would definitely eat some damn goat intestines, and that shit be delicious.
Is that an African like tradition, or is that just?
I feel like that's just like international. Like Caribbeans be eating goat. We be eating goat.
Yeah,
Like, we all
I just meant.
I love me some goddamn
like on a
goat.
holiday. I would
Like
never
a
think.
freshly slaughtered goat. Like it was slaughtered at least in the past like few
Okay,
days,
now.
and that meat be fresh and delicious.
Wow.
But goat intestines, you don't eat goat intestines, you eat goat.
No,
you don't eat, like, if you ate bacon, you don't eat bacon intestines. No, you don't eat cow intestines. This is intestines.
We eat it all.
Like, what, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
It depends. Like we eat everything. Like it's not like something we always go to, but if it's cooked well and somebody wants to take the work of like preparing it and cleaning it, oh yeah, we eating it. It's good.
I don't know.
But
girl.
mind you, I didn't grow up with like, we didn't call it chitlins. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, you want some goat? Oh, what part of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I think that's the intestines. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm gonna eat it. You know?
Wow.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't like it wasn't in the same kind of like regard as it was for like Black Americans.
Right.
Mm.
Well, he's bringing me some tomorrow.
Okay.
I've never eaten a chitlin before.
Really?
I've only smelled them.
Me neither.
I-
I wouldn't smell them. Yep.
I know they
would go
smell
in
like
the
it, and that was
other room.
enough.
This is a very
That was enough. I
This
was
is
like,
a very
mm-mm.
non-black conversation. I've never
I
met
would go in the
a
other
group
room.
of black people where not one
Listen,
has eaten chitlins.
I'm a very picky eater, and as soon as somebody told me intestine, I was like, exit stage left, pass the cornbread. I'll take the turkey, thank you. Turkey and the macaroni and cheese. I'm like, I'm not eating
even do that. Like, why?
yeah, like.
Why would you? Like, I don't go around eating ass, so why would you eat that? Like, come on, like, stop it.
My sentiments exactly.
As in all things, some people might just like it.
Well, I mean, but we have to give a caveat to the cultural part of it, right? Because there are some countries in Asia where they eat a whole bunch of wild shit, and you just.
I appreciate you not saying what that wild-ish was.
Right. I don't. It wouldn't be me. So I will on the next episode. I will absolutely follow up about my first chitlin encounter.
Chitterling experience.
I can't wait. I'm like nervous for him to even bring them in and me heat them up because it's gonna smell
It's
over
totally
the
gonna smell.
entire.
I've never had no funky chitlins. I mean, I've never had American chitlins.
Oh, that's different.
Oh, so maybe
you've
it's like
only had
the
goat
pig
and-
instead
yeah.
of the goat thing. That's probably what it is.
It could be.
Because pigs are kind of nasty.
So wait, are there different kind of chitlins? Is it like there's pig chitlins, there's cow and chitlins? There's...
Well, see,
I
I
don't
never
know.
know. I never knew any other animal.
You said what?
I have no clue.
Yeah, like I've only
When you
known
find out
chitlins.
something wrong, like the conversation we had on the other show. If I tell you, and you find out that Christopher Columbus really didn't discover America, and they told me he did, does that make it right? Because they told you? Like, you find out that the Indians were slaughtered and they were called enemies, like, does it make it right? Because they just, we've been doing it anyway, so let's keep on doing it? Like, no, you learn from your wrong and you do different. Like,
I hear you.
if you find out that was a slave food and that's all they had, it's not like they wanted to eat that.
Right.
This is all you had, and you had to
Right.
you had to do what you had to do to survive. So because you have an option now, and you choose to say, you know what, I'm going to still eat the scraps. Like, who's the fool?
Well, I mean, and then you also have to think about the health implications of that
Oh,
too, and how and how we're already plagued as a community when it comes to, you know, access to nutritional food and like
all
just
the stuff, right?
all the things with our people's health situation,
right?
You know, hypertension and all that kind of stuff. So even more so now that we know better, you know,
we ought to do better. I agree.
Condemn anybody that eats chitlins, like I said.
If you like them,
let us know how them chitlins go.
I will absolutely
run me them chitlins once they get here.
I'll let y'all know.
There are people halfway across the world who eat spiders. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, hey.
So I can't with that at all. So let's talk about
So changing over to a different topic.
the white feminists of America.
You know what? Okay. I didn't know we were gonna go that route, but I'm excited.
Let's unpack this.
Can we explain what a feminist is, what a womanist is?
Yes.
And the differences between them. Because I didn't know what a feminist was. I will not even lie to you. Mm-hmm. I happened to find out what a feminist was after I started dating a man who said he was a feminist. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this man is into.
Wait, what is a womanist?
Womanist. Similarly,
yes.
An ex-girlfriend of mine identified as a womanist.
Yes.
And so I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Educate the masses. What is a womanist?
I mean, I have very limited knowledge of this. But
all right. I'm going to give my colloquial.
I'm going to let you go ahead and do it because I feel like you're closer to the issue. Being a black woman, you're closer to this issue.
So, quintessentially, feminist is a white woman advocating, you know, equal rights for all, not just women, but men and women. Equal rights for all genders, all classes, whatever.
Which is how a man can be a feminist.
Exactly. That's how a man can be a feminist because it's equality of all genders.
Got it.
Versus a womanist who is basically a black feminist. I hear you. It's like,
so Beyonce is a womanist and Lena Dunham is a feminist.
Boom. But Lena Dunham wants to be Beyonce, so quintessentially, she wants to be a womanist too.
But also there's some significance there because black women at the time felt they were left out of the feminist movement.
Because we were.
Because black women were.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that's like that
for those of y'all who are like literally not woke at all,
just don't say it like that. People are just not as aware.
No, okay. The same thing.
You know, D is a straight shooter. She don't really sugarcoat stuff.
Well, I was just gonna say that
hurt your feelings if you weren't aware.
Just pay attention to women. If you want to call yourself any of these things, know the actual history of how this happened, because there's plenty of quote feminists and equality of black and white, the equality of men and women traditionally has applied to white people, and it doesn't necessarily apply to black people. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Can we take that word equality and throw it like in the trash?
Well, right, because
especially when you're talking about black people.
Yes. Because
we have equal access to a whole lot of crap. Like you and I can go into a bank tomorrow and equally apply, but we have no equity. So that says that even if we apply, we're not going to get the same interest rate just because of the color of our skin. I can equally apply. Like black women are the most educated women on the planet, and you can equally apply for a job and you can get a job, but you're not going to be paid equitably.
Right.
And it kind of goes into that conversation about the feminist, the womanist movement. Like that was the biggest trick to the black woman.
Yes.
Because like black men and women we weren't even as thought of as lowest of the trailer parking trashiest white woman. Okay. Like so when you talk about the feminist movement and the womanist movement, like it didn't include black people at all.
Exactly. I mean, because like in 1920, you know, like a big hallmark of the feminist movement was the suffrage movement.
Right.
You know, like women's right to vote. They were just fine in 1922 when they could vote, and all black women were, right.
Well, right, and all of black people couldn't vote at that point, and then black women couldn't vote until after. You know what I'm saying?
So that's where the womanist movement was.
Get to the history because that whole thing kind of pisses me off.
They were cool after 1920.
And I just want to give the exact definition that we have on the screen for womanism. Womanism is a social theory deeply rooted in the racial and gender-based oppression of black women. Okay. There are varying interpretations of what the term womanist means, and efforts to provide a concise and all-encompassing definition have only been marginally successful. Right. So, to say the least, if you want to be woke and you want to feel that basically like, oh, I'm not just thinking about myself and my privilege, you want to include all races, and especially because womanism isn't just inclusive of Black women Americans, but also inclusive of people from other minority groups and other people across the world.
And
So
I think the interesting thing too about it is even just the word feminism. It to me, I mean, maybe
I don't know,
take
it has
too
a
deep.
negative
It almost like
connotation.
plays into the patriarchy a little bit. Like as opposed to woman, it's like no, you are a woman. Like as a human being, your sex is woman.
Yeah.
As opposed to feminism implying there's some sort of femininity that you need to be carrying with you. I don't know if that's what they meant. I don't know if anyone else thinks that way, but I kind of feel like that's maybe even a flaw just from like a, what's the word? From like a colloquial standpoint.
Yeah.
Like,
Just the phrasing or the root of the word.
The etymology of the word.
There we go.
There.
I like
Etymology,
that.
well
You better
done.
bring it
So
through.
essentially, Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer are two of what
They're two. I guess they're at the forefront. They're
the forefront
two
of
women who are in the comedic, creative, content creating space.
They speak for the generation.
They
They
speak for the
speak for the
generation.
generation,
That's
and
what you
they're
hear a
The
lot.
older
they're-
millennial generation.
You hear a
yeah,
lot.
and they're definitely at the forefront of like not pop culture, but
Yeah.
but pop
I'd say
culture. And Amy Schumer, for those of you who don't know, is a comedian, and Lena Dunham writes and produces and stars in the show Girls, which is on HBO. And
Same with Amy. She has her
oh
own
yeah,
show.
Amy does have her own show, and
Comedy
so
Central.
Yep.
they're like very open about their womanhood and their bodies and their sexual encounters and all of this. And so both of them in the past couple weeks just came far out of pocket for reasons unknown.
Really?
So for some reason, my friend sent me the link to like some
I love Amy
foolishness.
Schumer.
I do too, and I don't know what happened. But D, please educate us on what the fuck happened.
So basically, somebody tweeted and said Lena Dunham, Amy Schumer, etc. refused to see that misogyny among men of color, while hideously prevalent, is no more so than among white men. And this is a Latino man who tweeted this.
What like where did this spurt from?
I'm not 100%, like, I think this man just tweeted, and she said, sorry, Amy Schumer said, how would you know statistically who is hollering at you in the street more, pa? ?
Who is hollering at? Sorry, I just want to reread.
How would you know?
She added this guy who said that, and she said, "How would you know statistically who is hollering?" I just want to put there's no G at the end, at you in the streets more pa.
She called him pa. That I laughed
To
at.
this Latino man.
Then she deleted it. And it was like a whole like, oh,
And it just goes to show like
there are implications of this tweet, blah, 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 blah. My bad. Like, I didn't mean to offend anyone. And my whole thing is just like that tweet to me is not that egregious, except for the fact that
that's who you are.
her subconscious, like, just leave the tweet up. Like, that's what you meant.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you might get hollered at by black men
Or Latino men. Black
or Latino, right? But white men have the history of being the most abusive of everybody in this entire world. So like, don't sit here and come at me with some statistics on shit, because the only reason that we are where we are is because white men sat up there and raped all of black women and then lynched all of black men for looking at white women. So don't come at me talking about statistics, because I can give them to you. Right. So that annoyed me. But then like Lena Dunham basically,
Did she try to defend?
she was at the
Paul
Met Gala. No. She was at the Met Gala, and she basically said she was sitting next to Odell Beckham Jr. and was talking about how like she said how he looked at her was wrong, and that she felt that he thought that she was like a marshmallow and blah blah blah. I don't know. She made it all about her.
Wait. I'm very confused.
Yeah.
So I'm reading, as you're saying this, I'm like reading this. So wait, Odell Beckham
Was sitting
next to her, and he said this out loud?
No. This is all her perception of him not speaking to her.
Right.
So she comes up with this whole narrative.
Wait, please
thinks-
read it word for word.
Okay. He was like, that's a marshmallow, that's a child, that's a dog. It wasn't mean. He just seemed confused. The vibe was very much like, do I want to fuck it? Is it wearing it's wearing a tuxedo. I'm going to go back to my cell phone. It was like we were forced to be together, and he was literally scrolling Instagram rather than having to look at a woman in a bow tie. I was like, this should be called the Metropolitan Museum of Getting Rejected by Athletes.
Girl, what is this even about you?
And no, like the whole thing stemmed because he didn't speak to her. Mm-hmm. I was like, girl, what kind of privilege is it that he probably doesn't even know who you are?
I'm sorry.
Some people need to go listen to Jen albums and think, don't you think the song is about you?
I've you know how you have like that, like it's like a sibling or like a younger, like a person who is like young and just doesn't get it, and you have to remind them, like, you know, the reason that you're upset has nothing to do with you at all, right? Like you're so self-centered that you actually made something that had nothing to do with you about you,
and stepped well out of pocket.
But like, I'm sorry, she wrote a full. Where did she post this?
I don't. It was
or
an
she
interview.
said it.
It was like a Met Gala interview. I think she said it like after.
But even more so, why are you so pressed about Odell Beckham, girl? And you got a boyfriend. And why are you pressed about a man who is an athlete? Yeah, who's black? Yeah, who is sitting next to you at a function that you both are, were asked to be at.
Also, she could have just said hi. Like,
why is it in his position?
If she was so worried about speaking to him, why couldn't she just say, "Hey, what's up? Good game last week." Like, what's the problem? Mm-hmm. Why are you even talking about it?
And I'm not for this whole what's the word I'm looking for?
Self-aggrandizement.
Yeah, like when you basically like are trying to down yourself. She called herself
self-deprecating.
A child,
thank you.
Child and a dog where she's like marshmallow. Like,
right. What?
That's kind of what I was gonna say too. I
why would you take it so negative?
Her whole shtick is like this kind of like self-deprecating.
Woe is me, white woman shit.
Like
I'm shaped like SpongeBob.
Right. So what that means is I'm gonna call myself a feminist and like be super open sexually and like get on my high horse kind of about
that's
it.
So true. Yeah. That is so well said.
That's like her whole shtick,
Because that's so true. Because it's almost like, if you're like that, a lot of comedians say like, I was like the ugly kid in school, so I would make fun of myself before anyone else got a chance.
Right.
And it's like this is a perfect example of like, why did you go the negative route in terms of his, of how he interpreted or how he received you, as opposed to like being like, maybe he was shy, maybe he was nervous around you, maybe he was all these other things, but because he is a black athletic man, a professional athlete as a black man, this is where you want to take it, and you're going to include yourself to make yourself seem like the victim in the whole thing.
Right. And maybe he just legitimately did not.
How about he might not know you because I'm listening to this whole thing. I don't know who this person is.
Lena Dunham.
I mean, I'm not like the king of the world. I don't know everybody. I've never heard this name before in my life.
Wow. Jason, can we ask you a question for context? How old are you, if you don't mind us asking?
I'm 37.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense.
So Lena Dunham attracts your like young millennial college student or fresh out of college white girl, and also like millennial generation of like liberals.
Her show is essentially the second coming. What it was branded as the second coming of like Sex and the City type of show, where her and her 20-something friends live in New York.
I don't think it's Sex and the City at all.
I agree with you. I'm just saying the sort of branding of it was like, like it was in the same conversation. Yeah, it's a generation. This is the next generation of 4 women living in the city and like trying to make it.
And if you watched it, you probably could not identify with any of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very...
You would probably find it humorous, but you couldn't identify with like these young white Jewish girls living in New York City, navigating life, going through relationships, getting jobs, and realizing that daddy's not going to pay for my bills the rest of my life.
Yeah, essentially.
No, because I'm a black man in America and never had that. Sorry.
And there's only her only black character in the show.
Oh, she dated Childish Gambino.
Was Childish Gambino in like season 2. She dated him for a few episodes.
And it got weird. It got a little racial.
Super weird and racial, and then he wasn't on the show anymore. So anyway, speaking of black athletes, moving right along.
My boy Kaepernick. I love him. First of all, let me tell you how light-skinned Colin Kaepernick with the curly hair was over here just like
Kaepernick
super
with the good hair.
Kaepernick with the good hair was over here real under the radar, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, when did this brother grow an afro? Did he just comb out his curl?
Like,
wait a minute,
like you have cornrows now?
I'm sorry, this brother got cornrows. I saw that thing today when he was leaning down.
You know what he reminded me of when this whole thing broke? He reminded me of Huey from the Boondocks. Like,
oh, I love Huey.
Out the woodwork, super conscious, big ass fro, just like,
unapologetic.
But y'all don't hear me though. And it was great. I was just like, okay, I'm here for this.
I stand with Kaepernick. They say his jersey. We put this also on our Instagram and Facebook page. But that his jersey is the highest selling NFL jersey at the moment, like for the past few weeks.
And so what he's doing with all of the money is donating it into like black communities and schools.
His first $1 million is going to black organizations and black like you
No,
said.
that's the first $1 million of his contract this year.
Right.
All of the proceeds that he received from his jersey are going.
Boom.
Because he said he felt like he didn't earn that.
Right. Right.
It was based off of the stance he took that sales of his jerseys went up. So the people who were supporting in this community should receive the revenues.
Yo, I respect it.
And so I love it because the movement kind of is just trickling throughout the NFL. So, you know, for those of you who watch sports, I like to be in front of a TV a majority of the day on Sunday, even if I'm doing other things, just because I love watching football. And so one thing I noticed was that on a bunch of teams, the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Patriots, fists were raised, knees were taken, and you know, a lot of the teams and stuff are just making statements like, we support our players and we respect their individual decisions, whatever they are, basically. You know, just not really getting involved, not making their own statements, really just sort of supporting the players. And I think that...
But backing them, essentially.
Yeah, but backing them. And I think
as Obama said, it's his right to exercise.
It is his right. And I fully support this. I think it's cool, and I think it's something that anybody can do. Like, it's not... You know, right now it's football season for everybody. High school people, college. Like, if you're taking that knee, you are entitled to do that, I think, personally. So I think it's good that the movement sort of started at the top level and can trickle down accordingly. Yeah. Because it's I just think it's a very, like, eye-opening thing, because the way that I view at least professional sports is, like, plantation style. Like, you know, we're working for, we're working for the owners who have these billion-dollar franchises, and we're getting paid a piece of that, but we're the ones doing the work, and we are not owning any of these teams. You know, I don't know if there's a single black franchise owner of any of our professional teams in the country.
Not a franchise.
Not wholly owned.
Yeah.
Not wholly owned, right.
The only majority owner of a professional sports team is Michael Jordan, and that's for the Charlotte Hornets.
Right.
The NFL is 68% black, 0 owners. The NBA is 74% black with 1 owner.
Boy.
And at the end of the day, think about it.
That is crazy.
Owners. They're owners.
That is.
And before the season, you literally have to go out and jump, run, do push-ups, do all these different things. Same thing that they had to do on the slave trade.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
That's real.
To be bought
Yo.
by a team.
Right.
Your sweat equity there is...
And you know what? It's very interesting about that, and it goes in the same vein. Did anyone know what the second stanza of the Star Spangled Banner was?
What do you mean?
The third one?
The third stanza, yes.
What do you mean? What it used to be? What you talking about?
No, what it currently is. We don't sing it. We don't sing the third stanza.
Oh, what?
It says...
It talks about slaves.
Yes, and it says, no refuge could save the airling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave.
Are you kidding me?
And that is why quintessentially Colin was like, y'all got me fucked up. Y'all think I'm about to continue doing this? But you know what really was eye-opening and bothersome for me? I had no idea. I had no idea that something I've been putting my hand to my heart for my entire life, and not once as me feeling like I'll call myself a little conscious, a little woke. I had no idea that there was another stanza of the Star Spangled Banner that I've been singing in my schools that dealt with slavery.
No clue.
Not until I was 29 years old that I discovered this. And it was only because of Colin Kaepernick and all these articles that came out about why he's over here kneeling. And I was like, I'm glad he's kneeling. He's taking a stand. Great. That's great. Wait, there's a slave mention?
I'll drop another one for you. The Statue of Liberty in New York. You know that there's slave chains and shackles on her feet, right?
Stop it.
That I knew that there were, it just never occurred to me that was slave related.
Wait.
Yeah.
It's a representation of America.
What they wanted to do was try to get it covered. So, and if you ask the tour guides and ask about the shackles, they'll tell you about it, but you have to ask.
We're over over here looking at a picture right now, zooming all the way the fuck in.
I can't. I really can't with this.
That's crazy. Yo, I learned a lot. Anyway.
So I think, first of all,
there go the chains. Crazy.
Somewhere in my high school years, I stopped putting my hand over my heart. I just got annoyed, I think, with, like, under God, indivisible. It just frustrated me because I felt like we are definitely a nation divided when it comes to so many things and political issues. And I just was like, I'm good on this, actually. I don't need to put my hand, and I stand and I'm not, like, disrespectful, but I also am fully aware of the fact that I haven't, like, I stopped saying the Pledge of Allegiance in, like, my sophomore year of high school. And I would stand for it.
I mean, at the end of the day, in the Constitution, we're still 3/5 of a human. That's never
Right.
been ratified.
Wait, that's not been ratified?
No.
No.
I never knew that. Huh.
Yeah,
For some reason.
And the abolition of slavery in the 13th Amendment is except for incarcerated persons. So why do you think that it's so important to continue to lock black people up?
Right.
And that's in the Constitution today. So it's legal slavery.
I just thought it was literally something that just got, and I'm probably the masses. I thought it was something that got handled after the freedom, after the Emancipation Proclamation was declared, after Juneteenth. I thought this was something that obviously in my mind has been, ratified or something has been done where this obviously will not be in any type of constitution that we are a part of, any country that we are in, right? But now, looking at these things makes you question everything.
Always.
And it's just like, if I didn't know this, what else don't I know? It's interesting, and I respect Colin and also just like other people who are in positions of influence to make such a stance, because Colin knows that his pocket's are gonna be affected. He knows that his reputation will be affected. He's not going to be like Shaquille O'Neal, who's going on Fox News and talking about I don't agree with what Colin is doing, and then segueing into the fact that his dad and his uncle were cops and they were here to protect our country. Like, what the fuck? Are you that brainwashed, or are you that detached from what's going on in not even just in America, but any place that was colonized and still has the hard hand and rule of white supremacy?
Well, he nicely accepted the Hall of Fame like the day
you
after
saw that fool. I was like, you over here got a new
And part
pedestal.
of it, here's the thing in that whole scenario. And I said this about Ray Lewis, and I think Ray Lewis is an amazing person, but when you're so far separated from it, and you've been taught the same narrative over and over again, like, when's the last time that Shaquille O'Neal has been broke?
Or been a regular person walking down the street as 7 foot something.
A regular person. He hasn't been a regular person his whole life. The man was 7 feet tall in high school.
Word.
So you always have had that extra. Like, I talked about this the other day, and when we talk about kids going into professional sports and, like, people putting so much time and energy to kids playing sports. In the NBA, only 65 new players go into the league each year.
Ooh-wee. What's that percentage probably? What, 3%?
Like 1%.
Over the hundreds of thousands of people that are trying to come through college and European ball and what have you. Only 65 go in, new players each year. So he's one of those anomalies.
Yeah.
That, on top of anomaly, who's made millions and hundreds of millions of dollars for his whole adult life. So he's, I don't try to give people a pass, but if you are not affected by that, you've never known what it is to have an overdraft fee.
Right.
You've never known what it is to have, being denied anything for walking in. And if you did, it was so long ago that is out of your purview.
Right.
You grew up in a military family, so you had the things and the creature comforts on the base life.
Right, yeah.
So those things are not just in your purview. It's even when you have black people talk about black on black crime, but they don't address the mass poverty and all those great things that are those horrible things, that impact us. Because those folks have not seen that poverty in so long. So you're not connected to that. It's not your reality. Right. So your friends are wealthy just like you. So when your friends are wealthy just like you, and you go on a yacht when you want to, and you buy $1 million car just because you can do it, that your reality. And until you step out of your reality, it's just like me not knowing what's going on in the LGBT community because that's not my reality. But I have to be aware enough to say, you know what, there have a different reality than me just being black in America.
You respect
they have
it. Yeah.
another level to it. So I have to understand and be open to listening to the things that impact them. I can't be, it's just like a white person with privilege. They have privilege and they don't think they have privilege because they don't have to deal with the situations on the daily and never had to be impacted by that. It's not because it's not there. That's not part of your life.
Right.
Word. Yo, I've learned so much lately, and I'm just here for all the blackness and all of the consciousness and all of yo, it's been beautiful, like, and I appreciate one person being able to influence so many others. Like, Colin has a following not only because he was in a Super Bowl recently, but also because he's a person who's like, you know what? I don't mind being the person who's going to get, the brunt of the hate and the brunt of the criticism. He was like, you know what? If I'm gonna stand for it, I'm gonna do it all the way. He was like, guess what? I'm getting my braids. I'm getting my afro. I'm doing. Yo, no, but like
I'm rocking rough and stuff with his afro puff.
Right, and I give him credit because he is of mixed race, and I don't know what it is lately, but I feel like between Jesse Williams and all these, hell, J. Cole was wearing his jersey at a concert recently in front of during Labor Day in a crowd full of white people. I feel like these mixed men over here are standing up for our people, and I'm here for all of it. They are black men quintessentially, but I am trying to make a joke that somewhat makes facts.
But part of it is because they can see both sides of the coin.
Yes.
True.
And they see the real, if you only know one side and never been exposed to the other side,
Yeah, that's a good
it's
point.
like, whoa.
That's a good point.
So a lot of times people of mixed race, they don't get love from either side.
Right.
That's true.
So they see a dynamic that is totally different. You're not dark enough to be black. You're not white enough to be white. So I'm criticized and ostracized because I'm mixed. And so they see it from another lens. They're basically sitting in the corner looking at the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't have a real place in it.
Right. I mean, and then that brings to bear the idea. It's the difference between race and ethnicity, right? I mean, so when you look at a Colin Kaepernick, when you look at a Jesse Williams, to the untrained eye, he's a black man, right? And that's just the fact of the matter. Race is about how people perceive and treat you, not necessarily what you are. And so he probably has grown up, experiencing that people treat me as black, no matter what my parents might be,
Right. 100%. So I think we're gonna wrap up. Actually, do you want to?
Yeah. What's
You
up
want-
with this teacher in
Right. Tell us about this sexy teacher in Atlanta, because I didn't know anything about this.
Very normal. Very normal.
I mean, black women have curves. I'm going to just put it out there. Black women are beautiful. I love black women. But I think people we just talked about Colin Kaepernick taking a stand that can lose his livelihood. We got people getting killed in the street. The water is still brown in Flint, Michigan, and we're worried about what this woman wears to work. If she wore, what do you want her to do? If she was morbidly obese, you talk about the woman because she's morbidly obese. She needs to work out. She needs to take care of herself. If she's a female bodybuilder, she's too manly. She needs to stop working out. If she is a fit, curvaceous black woman, what are you gonna wear? They made the PZ jeans because of women with big behinds, hips, and a small waist. That's part of black women.
I will say though, some of the outfits she had on were certainly not school appropriate. I would say wear that on a date or wear that to the club, but teaching kids and potentially causing a distraction. Some of it was a little. I was like, oh, okay.
And part of it, we're assuming that she was wearing that on a day that was class.
I mean, of course, right.
We didn't post the fact that she got Teacher of the Month.
It's also social
they
media.
took all of her pictures out. They took pictures of her on the beach. Oh, this is a sexy teacher. They took pictures of her in maybe she had on a blazer before when the kids were in class, but when she took that picture, she had it off. But we're criticizing, and it goes into we're the Teacher of America. Somebody
Oh,
followed
she
her
cute.
and reposted it and did that. So she wasn't out there saying, "Hey, look at me, hear me roar." I'm the
Wait, was
sexiest
she
teacher in
going-
America. Now, think of her scene. Like she's
she
being
going to class
criticized
like
for
this?
working out. She's being criticized for wearing that. So if she jumps off a bridge tomorrow, is anybody going to say, "Oh, we shouldn't have done that"? Or are they going to say,
So, Jason, I just took a pause because I'm now finally looking at her photos. Goddamn. So, first of all,
She's bad though.
I'm now finally like looking at her photos because I just saw one photo, but I'm like, yo, she went to work. Like, I would be as a female child, I'd be distracted as all hell. So, first of all, she's very shapely. She's cute. She looks like she's in her mid-20s, maybe late 20s.
She, you know, this one I have a little. I
She
can
looks like
see
she's
it.
going to the club, but I mean, if anybody else.
I feel
This
like
man
most
said,
of-
"What school is that?"
I feel like most of the outfits. I mean, look, I think the outfits are beside the point. I think you bring up a larger point. It's just how frivolous social media is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
It's not a problem. I just want to know
and
where
the-
she works.
And we do this because there's no
Right.
way that
Right.
somebody white would have taken the time.
right or care.
And there's so many of these, like even going to what's his name that y'all sent me today. From Girlfriends.
William from-
William
Oh my
from
gosh.
Girlfriends.
Y'all remember Girlfriends, the show on
Oh,
UPN?
God. William.
Y'all remember the acronym for UPN, Underpaid Negroes?
Yes, I
Anyway,
do, I do.
so William, who was on Girlfriends, I don't know what the kind of depression this man is in or why he lost himself, but homie gained about a goddamn 800 pounds.
Don't do William
But my
like
point
that.
is this: that
He looks-
we did that. Like we
Right.
took
Wait,
that
wait,
photo
no.
and took those.
But what
images.
happened? What did Black Twitter do to
Well,
William?
Black Twitter is just not.
As they say, the internet is cooking William on high heat.
Yeah.
They roasted this man so
You are terrible. You are really
"You're getting a good giggle out of this one too"?
No, because D over here pulling up the photo. Oh my god.
It's bad.
It's
But
showing
the
up
roast-
before
but
and
the-
after.
Right, but the roast to me is like if we could just get rid of the gossips of the world, we would, as ourselves, like yeah, it's entertainment, but
We don't need to get rid of gossip. I'm here for it. I don't ever check it ever, but if I want some trash and I want a good laugh, I know where to go.
What?
are you really
Jason, I'm sure you would agree. It's probably trash at our expense, right? I think that's the bigger picture.
Yeah, and that's part of it, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, if a white woman wore the same dress, it wouldn't be a problem. And we continue to push this. It's like, all right, let's look at the fact that
We're like propagating our own
universities across the country are getting rid of their education program because no one wants to go into education.
Wow.
Teachers are paid the lowest of low in salary,
Yeah.
and then held to this super high standards that they have to get these people to pass, these students to pass the test with no resources.
Right.
So we have some teachers that are willing to say, you know what, through it all, I'm passionate about educating our kids. She graduated from college in 2012, so she's not that old. You're making $30,000 or less. So I come from college. My wardrobe is what? College wardrobe. So maybe I buy some things, but I'm making less than $30,000 a year in Atlanta. So yes, in my 20s, I'm still going to the club because this is my first job out of college.
Yeah, that's my
So do I buy clothes for work or clothes that I can wear to both work and to out?
Yeah.
But she's like being vilified for having a
See,
curvaceous body.
I haven't seen any negative comments. I
don't know.
thought it was
if
just
it's
to
all
highlight
that.
her.
I think it's
Well,
just.
so social media lately today is like there's people in the news. They're saying that she shouldn't be being able to keep her job, and
Wow.
she shouldn't wear that in front of kids.
Oh,
It's
that's
inappropriate. Like that is ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, that's
Like, ma'am, sir, did you show up to your last PTA meeting?
Tell him.
Did you show up to the last school board meeting? But you're talking about this young lady that is teaching your kids and obviously doing a good job to the fact that she's been named Teacher of the Month. You're worried about what you wear to school? Obviously, well, they're paying attention, huh? They're paying attention to class and passing these classes.
Right. So again, it's the social media cycle. Like this should be done with in like a week. You know,
I never had an attractive teacher. I'm like thinking back on like
I've had some
life.
attractive teachers.
I was like,
I
I
have a
never
black teacher
had.
till college, so I really.
Wow. Oh, what is that life like? There's so many jokes of privilege here. I don't understand.
No, wait, this is like a multi-layered situation happening.
What you
The
mean?
fact
Dee said she's never had a black teacher till college.
So she's never been attracted to any teacher.
Oh no, I said I never.
Which is one thing, and then you come with the
privilege.
That's a privilege. To
So,
not have
I just
Right.
meant the white teacher. Yeah.
I
Dang.
just was making a general point that I've never had an attractive black teacher because I've never had a black teacher.
Why does black have to be in front?
It doesn't. We're talking about a black teacher.
Oh no, I'm just saying I've never had an attractive teacher, male, female, black or white.
I was just relating
and I
to
just
this
wanted to
stuff.
poke the bear. Like,
As you, yeah.
Hey,
Poke the bear.
I've
That's
had
such
a
an
few
interesting.
attractive teachers growing up in Miami. It was a great thing.
You got some Colombian. I'll probably
oh,
yeah.
sure.
You're like international.
Jesus.
I'm like really racking my brain now. We had a couple of like decent looking
We have some
teachers.
Yeah, no.
We
We had one that Glenn Rice. I'm dating myself, but when Glenn Rice played for Miami, he was dating one of the teachers. Everybody was in love with her.
Yeah.
Wait.
We had a couple. Actually, let me not lie. We had a few teachers, women that were making some moves with some of the seniors. So.
Wait a minute. Can we talk about that real quick? I don't know what trash like TV I was watching, but a teacher recently had a relationship with a student, and it came out because another student caught them having sex in a car
I just want that break.
during a break. But they were together for like 2 years.
Oh yeah, there was
And
a
she was
kid-
sending photos and all kinds of foolishness.
I don't
to
know
this
if they
boy.
were like fooling around while he was in high school, but I specifically remember that they were in a relationship. They had to have been because I remember it was
My
like.
thing is though, you're grown. Like you can't get no one else with a high school student. Come on, Kels. I mean, my bad.
Well, no, and then it's funny, kind of back to your point though, of like how a lot of these teachers are young. So personal story, my little brother, he's starting to like substitute teach back at one of the local high schools, and the administrators are like, hey, like, I know you're not doing anything, but these little girls out here are looking and they're fast, so don't fraternize too much.
You said they're
don't
fast?
Yeah, like,
Well, and it's funny because 18 to 23
Yes.
is nothing like
in the big scheme of life. No.
right because at 23 and
I
28 nobody
got
will think
pulled to the
twice.
side on my full-time job. I work at the university, and they were like, "Listen, don't do it." I like my life. I like my livelihood. I like to pay my bills on time. No, I'm straight.
I didn't have any
Are
bad
you
professors.
single, Jason?
I'm in a relationship.
Oh, okay. So you just not getting in trouble at all. I respect that. I think so.
I'm not getting in trouble. Yeah, I'm divorced, but I've learned life, and I met someone that makes life pretty awesome.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hallelujah.
That's good.
It was beautiful. All right, well, I think we've wrapped up. Cause I can see where this is about to go. We're gonna get into dating, and I'm tired. So
I wasn't getting into that. I was getting into teachers doing the wrong thing. What was the lady who got arrested for the Latino guy she got pregnant by and she went to jail? Who was the white lady who got
You made that up.
No,
Right.
it was a huge case. Like,
And then she married him.
yeah, she married him.
Yeah.
You know, what is her name?
That was beautiful.
It was, yeah, we were like,
Wrong. Her name is wrong.
her name was wrong.
all right,
Well, this was great. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Major. Thank you, Jason. This episode was good. We talked about feminism, womanism,
Hey, yeah, I forgot about that.
white privilege,
We learned a
being shaped like
we did learn a
SpongeBob.
lot. Jason hit us with the
Damn.
facts. All right,
Hey, I
well.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate the platform.
Yeah, thank
Thank you. So Jason is part of On the Vision, which is an amazing organization that supports Black organizations, businesses, universities, and so follow on
All social media.
and go on the website. We just did it. Donated. You can donate either like $1 a month or $12 a month, and you guys giving up your 2 cups of coffee really won't kill you to support our community. So shout out to Jason. Thank you so much for being here.
OnTheVision.com.
I appreciate you.
Thank you to our producer Mac and and Major for being here. I think that's it.
And you can listen.
Oh right, I forgot.
On-
We put social media.
You can listen to our podcast on iTunes or
SoundCloud.
And you're probably listening right now. But yeah, we also have some social media that we love your support on. IG.
You can follow us at Black_Meets_World on IG. You can follow us at Black Meets World on Twitter. Definitely. And
Facebook, which Dee sometimes
don't
forgets.
do this. You can also email us at blackmeetsworld@gmail.com or info@blackmeetsworld.com. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your questions. Let us know your stories. We love to hear from you. So thanks for listening.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.